Anyway, I'm here today with my friend Gary. Hello, Gary.
How are you? Quite a sad time for us both, isn't it, at the moment, unfortunately?
Yes, we've just been talking about that. Gary, what it is I've got a picture up of Gary and you met Christian a few years ago, but we've had some sad news, so go, Gary.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like my dear friend is like a brother to me. You know, we've done quite a few podcasts together, like with Karen, and I met him at a Martin Leakey convention up in Birmingham, and it looks like he's got terminal cancer, and it's very very sad. You know, I've been thinking about him a lot. You know, and I phoned him up. I phoned him up the other day, in continual contact with him as well. And you know, we don't know how long he's got. Bless him. But it looks like it's more sort of like weeks, Karen, don't you think, rather than like a few months or whatever.
He
You know, because
didn't
he's very
do
very
very well
very
at the
ill. You know.
hospital today. It was too much for him. He's not very well. I told you I had that bit with him. I had gallstone problems. The same thing happened to me. The shop's just round the corner, but it feels like it's miles away, and you're just ill. He's very ill, and so that's why he didn't cope with the hospital today, and he was looking at collapsing. So I don't know how he is this evening, but we're going to leave him alone this evening. But it's just so sad. He's 64, 65.
He's just the same age as me. I think he's either 1 year younger or 1 year older, something like that. Because when we met, the strangest thing was, Karen, when we met like up in Birmingham, you know, like sometimes you meet someone and you feel like you're never going to sort of like be able to be friends with them. There's sort of like some kind of roadblock from the get go, and you think, well, I don't want this person in my reality. But it wasn't like that with me and Christian. It was like we known each other a lot. I was standing there, like, and I mean, I'm only sort of like about 5'10", 5'11". I see this bloke walking along, towering above, like, and I thought, that's got to be him. And he recognised me straight away, and he come over. He said, oh, we meet at last. And I said, yeah. I said, it's been a long time coming, isn't it? And we had a fantastic time, and really, 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 really enjoyed each other's company. And you know, we spent a couple of days up in Birmingham until we come home, and we had some good fun getting home. We went to Birmingham, sort of like a National Express coach station, like, and we both got a coach back. Like, he got off at Northampton. I got off with him because I had to change buses, and we went and had a few drinks. And of course, it's very sad for me now, you know, because it looks
Christian's
like
a
I'm.
really nice person, isn't he? And he's a good friend. And I'm very sad. We've had many, many hangouts, and he's the worm. He was into the worm in the armour. But over the last few weeks, he's deteriorated quite a lot.
It's the cheer rate, isn't it?
I think he
And
was.
you
I
know,
think he
we
was
really.
almost terminal before he has started having tests at the end of November. They've told him today, which seems rather a long
Yeah,
time, 2 months. But I think he was probably almost terminal in November, really.
I think he was, you know, and I'm really like devastated, and like, you know, we
He's a
really we
good
really sort of
soul.
like
We will
brought out
miss
the best in
him.
each other. When we
So
used to do podcasts together, Karen, if you remember, we really sort of like we we put ourselves into another level because we used to rub off on each other so much, like with our various knowledge about different subjects, like, you know, and obviously, like, you know, spending that time with him in Birmingham in the travel lodge, it was great because we spoke about so many other things as well, you know, and I reckon, like, you know, we could have got up on the stage, like, and kept people sort of like entertained for a couple of hours, but it weren't our day that day. But we thoroughly enjoyed it, you know. I think might have gone for a curry, I can't remember, but we had a fantastic time, and I'm just pleased that it was good to put like a face next to the voice that I've been working with all these years, you know, when we're doing podcasts, and it's a very very sad time indeed, and I don't know what to say. I mean, I'm
it
really
just
quite
always
shocked, you know.
seems
It's
that I'm not saying that we're not nice people, but generally when you've got people around you, all the nice ones seem to be leaving, like Mickey. you know, and
Yeah.
all the horrible ones are left. Well, not all. They're not all horrible, but you know what I mean. It's just they're just taking all the nice ones.
Well, do you know something? I mean, let's face it. Over the last 3 years, like a lot of people in our community, it just does seem sort of like unduly too many people in our community are passing away. It's really bizarre, you know.
Christian is a
how it's
very
happening. I mean,
clever
all this
man,
big
isn't he,
coincidence.
Gary? He's very quick with his mind. He's very clever.
Extremely, and you know his mind. I spoke to him the other day, like, and his mind is still there. It's still as sharp as a bell. But unfortunately, you know, I had about a 20-minute, half-hour conversation with him on the phone, and he was just too weak to hold the phone anymore. That is how weak he is, you know, Karen. He couldn't hold. He said to me, "Gal, I've got to finish now because I can't hold the phone," you know. And
I think some as
I
well.
was down.
He probably could have the phone on loudspeaker, but there's people there, and he doesn't want them hearing all the conversations, so he doesn't. So that's why he's holding the phone.
Yeah,
It's very sad,
you know,
though, because he's deteriorated quite a lot in the last couple of months.
He has.
I mean, the other day
and,
sounded much more like himself, to be honest, but he didn't today. What it was is, I just explained, he'd gone to the hospital. The doctors have told him it's terminal cancer, but they sent him to go and get something from the prescription, and when he got there, they'd made a mistake, and he'd walked quite a long way. Then he had to walk back, get it changed, and then walk back, get the prescription, and that... Oh, I don't even want to use the word. What do we use? We use a word that's going to happen to him. But it nearly got him today. He was exhausted. He probably didn't feel very good either. He probably doesn't feel very good at all.
Yeah, it sounded like it wore him out altogether, didn't it? You know that.
Because he's not very well and he's trying to walk. Your body won't let you do it. You know, when you're not very well, a shop that's just round the corner feels like it's Mount Everest.
He should have been given like a wheelchair when someone pushed him, like a porter or something, you know.
Yeah, but that might be him. He's quite a man full of pride as well, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? He might not think, you know, sometimes you don't realise how ill you are, if you know what I mean. Anyway, you just wanted to dedicate this hangout to him, didn't you?
Yes, this is. I mean, you know, it was a two-pronged thing. What I'm doing today, I wanted to do a little hangout about certain subjects, but I also wanted to dedicate this to Christian because it looks like this. It might be the last one I'll be doing. With him sort of like involved in a certain way, even like in spirit, if not in sort of like actually talking, you know. And I just wanted to sort of like, you know, dedicate it basically. And I'm quite sort of like taken aback really.
This picture here, you sent that to me when you were at the Martin Leakey thing, and it says, "I've booked a travel lodge for us for £62 down the road." I just thought that was funny, but yes, right. That's the only picture of him I've got.
Yeah. And we laughed actually, Karen, because when we got a bus outside, like, and I got a funny feeling like I don't know, did I have my bus pass at the time? I think we both got on the bus, like, and I'm not sure if he paid. I made out he was my companion or something, and we was listening to people on the bus, hoping they were going to speak like in that Brummie accent that I love, but everyone don't. And then a woman got on the bus line and she started speaking like in the Brummie accent, like on Peaky Blinders, and I said, "Oh, thank God for that, like, can you just speak a little bit, love, because I love your accent." And, you know, me and Christian, like, rolled up. I said, because everyone else was either Lithuanian, Ukraine, or people that didn't come from there, because it's so sort of, like, diverse there now that the actual
It's like that
Brummie
everywhere,
accent,
Gary, I have to say. When me and Jimbo were in Wales, it took about 2 or 3 days to hear a Welsh person. They all come from Manchester.
It's very strange, isn't it? Because when you go... You know, when you used to go to sort of like Birmingham, like, you know, say just 30, 40 years ago, you know, everyone's got that Brummie sort of like twang. But there you go, it's a sign of the times, isn't it? I suppose a lot of them have moved out and moved to. We've got quite a few around here, actually. Yeah, but anyway, it's
made us feel a little bit sad for our hangout, hasn't it? Because obviously we arranged this a few days ago, and now, yeah. And we do love him so much.
I
It's just so sad.
I don't think I'm going to do it for very long, Karen. It's so sad for me. I'm not going to be my normal sort of like vibrant self, and maybe my brain cells are not be working quite so well because I've got them on the back of my mind. But we'll have a little one anyway. You know, it's just for the dedication to Christian's
Well, we just want
life
to say much respect and love to Christian, and let's just hope he has a good. All of this is now just somehow, because he's in a lot of pain. The pain gets better, and the journey's good somehow for him. Yeah. Better than it's been. He's struggling quite a lot now. So yeah.
Very sad.
Well, he is. Yeah, he's a good friend. He's kept me on the phone for hours talking. In the past,
yeah, we've done
not
some
now.
wonderful...
In the past, I mean. But should we carry on, Gary, or do you want to say anything else? I mean, what can we say? We're very sorry and we love him, but we just wanted to. Well, Gary wanted to mention it, didn't you, as well?
Yeah. We both love him. We're both thinking about him.
Yeah. Right. Let's just stop for a moment. So we're on the subject here now of Antarctica, and Gary's got a few things to say, haven't you, Gary?
Oh, I've got quite a few things to say about
I've done my bit, Gary. I told you 2 videos I've made about Antarctica.
Number one.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, well, number one, what I've got to say, that sort of like the way the sort of like sun works has nothing to do in the plane where we live. I mean, the thing is, we surmised how it might have worked, but we didn't actually know. None of us do. I mean, I actually think it's a metaphysical thing. I think, like, you know, do we have a certain degree of control over it? I don't know. I mean, anything's on the table now.
I did say, didn't I, though? Svalbard has 24 hours a day light. These places get light, the sun for 24, you know, like it's that, or they get a midnight sun. So I did a video last week about that because it doesn't matter whether the sun was there or not. The light, if there was no light, and even if there was, it would be twilight. But I went to Time and Day, and they show Antarctica in light. So I don't understand why he's worrying about the sun. Because the light and the sun are 2 separate things. Very quickly, Gary, because I know you're going to talk, but I sat up here making videos really late, and in this, like when we're coming up to the solstice, the light is here at 3:30 in the morning, and a couple of hours later the sun comes. The sun and the light are 2 different things, but they would have had light there or twilight, so I'm quite happy. And if Svalbard has 24 hours a day light, the Shetland Islands I think get 24 hours a day light. It's in my video. Then it's not round up there, is it? It's flatty. So we don't know how big this place is. Doesn't bother me at all. All time and date show is that it's twilight or light there, so he would have seen light. Well, I'm happy then. That shows it's fine for me. It is.
My point is, just the way the sun works doesn't change where we live. I mean, I have to...
Oh. Sorry about that. I got a phone call from Jimbo. But Gary's going to continue now, aren't you, Gary?
Yes, I'm going to continue. Basically, I'm questioning the sincerity of probably sort of like everybody involved in that. I'm a little bit old. Well, I'm quite a bit older than all of them, like, you know, and I sit back and I digest things and analyse it. And
but didn't you know it was going to be some fiasco, though, didn't you? You knew it was. I didn't take any notice of it either myself, because I knew it was going to be a fiasco with the people that they asked.
Well, remember, I'm probably one of the only people left, apart from probably Bob Nadell, and he's gone now, like, that witnessed, like, the moon landings firsthand, like, as a 9-year-old boy, and, like, you know, this is very much like it. Were they there? Quite possibly.
Or maybe it's because they're so adamant on the Gleason map, they didn't realise that it was wrong. The Gleason map's wrong and the whole thing's different shape to what they thought. Oh, let's just throw all the toys out the pram and have a big paddy whack and say, I'm not one of those anymore, I'm a Globie. Oh, how ridiculous is that? A man that they've been following him for years. I just find that incredible.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Just the way the sun works doesn't change sort of like where we live. You know, looking up or looking down, we know that what always finds its level, and we can see far too far. So the thing is, that
you've got to accept we live on lots of plateaus. If you accept that, and that the light is a different thing to the sun, you're halfway there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, so we just sort of like throw everything, all the work everyone's done, like for the last 10 years or more, we just throw it all down the pan because we suddenly realised that the sun don't work the way we thought it worked. Well, what about people that I'm not mentioning names?
But you don't even know where he was taken, though, do you, Gary? He might not have been taken to where he thought he was being taken.
Exactly, that's my point. The thing is, some people say to me, Gal, do you think it might be beyond the realms of possibility, like that sort of like the astronauts in the 60s and 70s, like were hypnotised, like, and thought they actually went? And I said, yes, definitely. That is a possibility. The people that could be hypnotised, they can, even to this day, still think they actually went. Is it beyond the realms of possibility that they thought they went to Antarctica? Where have we got the actual proof that they did when they might have thought they went there? They might have thought they went to Antarctica and they weren't even there in the first place. You know, that doesn't change like the sun. I mean, a lot of people are saying now even that looks suspect. You know, a lot of.
Listen, do you know what I saw today, Gary? I actually saw an aeroplane go over the top of the moon. I saw it. I was so shocked that I couldn't get my camera out to take a picture. I thought, I saw that. I know I saw it. I saw the plane going over the top of the moon. I was thinking, well, does that plane know it's just gone over the top of the moon? Anyway, yeah.
The more I see it, like, and I keep on overanalyzing it, like, by watching it on different sort of like channels, like, it just looks. Put it this way, I've got a saying, like, say for argument's sake, a lot of people are saying, like, you know, loads of it are fake. If 1% of it is fake, even, why would you fake something if it's reality? There's no point. I mean, you want to sort of like project an image that's sort of like showing that everything you're doing, like, is absolutely 100% above board. Why would you fake even 1% of it? And as far as I'm concerned now, there's a darn sight more than 1%. Why did one of them sort of like take a vape light to make it look like it was sort of like mist coming out of his bleeding mouth, like when he exhaled? You know, all these little things for me. It's like I would say, like, the moon landings was the analog version of this being the digital version, sort of like 55 years later or whatever, Karen. They're doing the digital version of the moon landing in 1969. See where I'm coming from?
I remember sort of having a bit of a sort of private sort of thing with Jaron years ago. And what really got me was that I suppose I saw it at the time as quite, you know, he was moaning about our group because we hadn't gone live. You know, we were doing it on Hangouts privately and stuff. And he came on one of our Hangouts and he liked it, but then he started moaning about us. And I couldn't believe that he thought that NASA changed their videos because they spotted the mistakes. I mean, like, that's pretty... It's kind of arrogant, isn't it, to think that NASA is going to change their videos because they've spotted the mistake. I just didn't quite get that at the time. He came up with a reason why he thought it was all okay, but... You know, I don't know where the video is. It's somewhere on my computer, but he knew the Gleason map wasn't quite right then. And we were talking about 2016-17. He knew, but he said there isn't a better map, and that's the map I'm using.
Well, I mean, we don't know. Listen, I don't subscribe to any model. All I know is what the proof is. And the thing is, just to sort of like chuckle 10 years like of work away, just because they got how the sun works wrong, right, is absolutely ridiculous because, you know, we're all sort
I
of like
don't
on a
understand
learning
why he
curve.
doesn't realise we're obviously bigger than he thought we were, or he wasn't taken to where he thought he was going, or it was all just a game, you know, it was all just going to be a mess because,
See, no one has actually pointed that out. You know, they thought they was in Antarctica, but we really don't know, do we? I mean, they could have been taken some. People were saying, "Oh yeah, they were Antarctica," but the thing is, we just don't know.
do you know what amazes me? Listen as well,
this
Gary.
is like,
Listen, if it's got all this ice on it, ice can only happen when there's land. It doesn't happen on water. It only happens because there's land.
yeah, but they never mentioned at all, did they, like about the vast expanse of ice there and how there was no curvature to it. It's like it seems like they've just concentrated on one thing only. It was like, was it sort of like designed?
Well, that's
by,
what the trip was about, wasn't it,
for them to
really,
go
Gary?
down there?
Gary, that's what the trip was about.
Well, this is it. This is it. I mean, all right, yeah, the trip was about like the 24-hour sun. Fine, I can understand that. But you know, then they should have said, "Oh, but by the way, we're still not saying we can measure curvature or whatever."
We've still got light. We've still got light, twilight, whatever. Yeah, didn't mention that either, did they?
Also, gas pressure living next to sort of like a vacuum without solid separation, you know, with the dome, with the firmament. So it was like they've okay, yeah, they went down there for the 24-hour sun, but it smells to me. Something ain't right. And the thing is, because there's so many inconsistencies coming up now, left, right, and centre. How much of it was sort of like, why would you fake any of something if it was reality? It's like the moon landings. Why would you sort of like, if it was all happened as per real, because we know it's just a luminary anyway, don't we? Like, you know, the moon now, but you know.
Oh, and also like they only get do you know what? When I looked it up, Gary, there's loads of places, like I said, that get 24 hours of light. They get the sun for maybe up to 20 hours, or they get a midnight sun. But in Antarctica, you only get full sun if you're at the South Pole. So he had to be standing on the South Pole, and he wasn't. You only get it at the South Pole. So don't you think it's really crazy that they'd be going somewhere else if they know it's at the South Pole, or whatever that is, gets 24 hours of sun? Or light.
It also, like I said, you know, I'm probably one of the, there are some other people as well, but I'm probably like one of the older gentry like of our movement, and you know, witnessing like the moon landings firsthand, like as a little boy, and then watching this, it was like a digital copy of an analog event that happened in 1969. It was like, it looked contrived. It looked like, I can't even, sometimes, you know, I get brain fog and I can't put it into words, but it just didn't look right. It looked like it looked smelly. It was smelly. It was like, it just looked to me like it wasn't real. Something was wrong about it, you know, some way. And was it a CIA operation to sort of like, you know, dismantle sort of like our movement to some degree? I don't know.
So what are they hoping? Because Jaron said that it isn't, and now he's a globie, that everybody's going to change their mind and become globies.
Well, that's what he's hoping for. But the thing is, you know, were all these people put in place like very early on, right, for this moment, you know? And listen, it does happen, Karen. Have they been blackmailed? Have they taken a huge payola, or all of the above? Yes. Have these things happened in the past? 100%. You know, as it happened to them, I'm swaying. My swingometer's thinking, you know, it's all very smelly to me, you know, and just for one thing happening, just to suddenly sort of like turn a leaf and say, well, you know, oh, that's it, we live on a globe again now, just because we don't know how to, we thought the sun works in a different way. It's very, very suspicious to me, and you know.
Well, the way I see it is, once you go flatty, you can't go back.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, most of the people in our community, like, they've seen through it anyway, Karen. I mean, I haven't sort of like seen any channels like that sort of like said, oh, that's it, yeah, blimey, we've all got it wrong and all that. Because we know how these people work, like, you know. And I've seen some of these various characters like on different people's shows, like a couple of them have been on Flatsoid sort of like shows. And
can I ask you something then, Gary? Was there light in his video? Obviously, there was light.
So it was what?
Obviously, in his video, I haven't watched it, but he's in light, isn't he?
Yes, yes.
Well, that was the most important thing, is that if you've got the light, we don't know, he doesn't know where he was. What, he's suddenly going to believe that everything went tickety, but I just don't know why you would believe them and change your mind.
Why would you change your mind on one aspect when, let's face it, there's more than three things. There's a multitude of things, but the three main things are sort of like, you know, we can well, four things. We can see too far. Water always finds its level everywhere. Any sort of like any sort of lake or sea or anything is always going to be 100% level. And the facts. When somebody sort of like takes me to a laboratory and shows me a gas pressure living next to a vacuum without a solid separation, I'll never utter another word. Until that happens, I'll keep on. And
do you know something? I don't even understand. I don't even understand when we're quite intelligent now to understand something about what we live on. Like, if you were going to use the Gleason map, you would be smaller in the middle and larger on the outside. So that doesn't work for me, and it doesn't cover the southern hemisphere. It doesn't cover them. It's okay if you're in the northern hemisphere, but if you're in the southern hemisphere, none of it works. So why would you be smaller in the middle and larger? Because that's what would be happening, because that thing is round and expand. I just think that the whole of that might have been for travelling or something, but it's a psyop, isn't it? That whole thing. It can't be anything like that.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, you know, a lot of globers, like, they use like the southern hemisphere like star trails, like, because they're going the opposite way, like, you know. It says, oh, how does that work on the
well, I believe in a star map, so Australia could be in the leg of a star, and that's why they have different stars, because they're in the leg of what we're in.
The only good thing with what's come out of this really is that with that as well, we just don't know. Is it beyond our realms of understanding at this moment in time? Quite possibly. I mean, you know, we're learning different new stuff all the time, and you know, we just know, like, the sun is at 93 million miles away, like hydrogen and helium, big ball of gas. You know, we know.
I just told you I saw an aeroplane go over the moon. So that's not 272,000, whatever it is, 1,000 miles away either, is it?
No. So my point is, to me, there was like, the whole thing is very sus to me, and
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? You imagine all the countries they're telling you that they're fighting have says on Antarctica, and nobody fights, and everybody adheres to everything there. But here they can, you know, all right, you're the next war, you're the next one coming along. It doesn't matter in this bit, but there, they all have the same rule. Don't you think that's incredible?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it seems to me a classic case of sort of like, you know, opposition and controlled opposition there, you know. I don't know, it's just, I just, to me, because like, some of it has been falsified. You got to question all of it. Why would you falsify anything? You know, and more and more people in our community like are seeing major flaws with it. Too numerous to sort of like second guess. And like I said, to me, it's just another moon land. It's a moon landing from '69, a 2024 version.
I mean, I tried to work it out, Gary, because listen, if he believes in the Gleason map and there's ice going around the outside, then maybe the 24-hour sun then would be on the ring. All of it. But the light's the most important thing for me. And he had light.
But you see, the thing is, you see, Karen, they adhere to sort of like all of that, all that lot from America, like I've been adhered to sort of like the model, like with the sun going around in spirals and one thing and another, and they built their careers on it. So now they realise that it don't work that way. They've had to backtrack, and basically this is why I never sort of like try and think about how things work to the letter, because if you get it wrong, you can make yourself look a fool, and all these people have. You know, what about the app, the phone app, and all that kind of stuff? It's like, is it be thrown in a bin now, or what? Are people going to get a refund? Because it certainly don't work the way.
So what does David Wise say then?
I see a podcast where he was sort of like, you know, trying to defend himself. Well, you know, he's going to do that, isn't he? He's built like a fortune.
His view of things is different to Jaron then.
Yes, it appears that way, because he has to, because the thing is, he's fighting for his app's life, isn't he? You know, basically, a lot of people, because if I had it, I'd turn around and say, oh, hang on a minute, can you sort of like reset this, like, because we're not sure now if this is working the right way.
But he's using a Gleason map for that, and that only works in the northern hemisphere, not the southern hemisphere.
Yeah. I think we live in a metaphysical realm where we're co-creators, and I've called all these people for many years. Like, I call them bricks and mortar, like flatties, for the simple reason. It's like it said. It's still sort of like saying everything is solid. Everything is solid to a certain degree of atoms. I'm thinking. I've thought for the longest time the holographic reality is the one that where we live in. We live in a metaphysical, supernatural, not so much a virtual reality, but
well, we are. We're the most virtual reality that you can be. We are.
Yeah.
Everybody's been buying games to have virtual reality, but we're the most virtual reality thing you can have. Yeah, carry on.
Well, if you look at sort of like the way England was, say, sort of like, you know, 70, 80 years ago, the Industrial Revolution and smoke everywhere and one another. Have we changed that for all? Have we literally been a part of sort of like changing the reality to sort of like a much cleaner environment where we live now? Right, we still got cars and one another, but I've noticed, Karen, that sort of like things look different to me now. Things look like, even if I go to somewhere that I've been to before, I notice it when I go to where I was brought up, like in North London. Everything looks different. It looks like we're actually changing reality, you know. And I think there's a tipping point. I think the other side know that basically the way this place works, and we're co-creators in a supernatural reality. Call it virtual reality if you want. Where basically, you know, if we're wanting good, positive things, and that's just why we have all the negativity on the TV with wars and, like, you know, keeping everyone in fields. I mean, when do you ever sort of like someone said this to me, and he's not even part of our community, Gal. He said, you know, it makes me laugh, Gal. He said, when you watch the news, it should be 50-50. When have you ever sort of like watch the news and they give you 50% like of good stuff and 50% of bad stuff? It's more like sort of like 85% of bad stuff, like, and about 15% of good stuff. And this is to keep people in perpetual fear and, you know, keeping their vibration low.
I know. I don't want to talk about which war it was, but they showed a car had been put on fire, and that was a war, and then we started a war. And you think, how can one car mean we're at war?
But you know
what I mean? It's the way they sell it to you. Now we're at war. A bomb has come in and blown this car up. Rather than, it's a set, and they did that to make you believe, but it wasn't happening, and now we've gone to war over something that they made just so that they could pretend to have a war.
Do we live in a dual reality? And I'll tell you why. Because I watched the YouTube video of a guy driving around California and a woman, like, and they're saying, look, where are these fires that meant to have happened? You know, I'm driving around where, yes, there was some fires over there, but places where they say that the fires are happening, some of them they definitely didn't exist, and they've perpetrated a myth just to keep people in more fear.
Yes,
So
I
saying,
felt
oh,
the
blimey,
same.
look,
Me and Mickey looked it up when they were standing on the Russian border with other places. We won't say the other country just in case, but the guy was saying, "Where's the tanks? There aren't any tanks." And they're telling you on
yeah,
the news that the border of Russia and etc. have got tanks all over it, but it didn't. 2 people did videos on it. They said they're not here. There's no tanks.
This is it, Karen. I mean, I watch a guy
But
sometimes.
we do know that, don't we, from that BBC programme, Gary? You know, the film with Donald Pleasance in it. And he says, we're making the news 3 years in advance.
Yeah, well, I watch a guy called Bald and Bankrupt, like, you know, and he's really good, and he speaks fluent Russian. He's an English guy.
Oh, that's him.
And
yeah, it was him. He's the one. No tanks.
yeah. Well, what happens is he goes all round where there's sort of like hot spots where there's meant to be wars going on. He films it and he says, "Look," he said, "I'm walking around." He said, "There's nothing happening. There's nothing happening here at all." You know, so it's all propaganda. We don't know. Like,
yes, because that's what it was in the film. He said, "How can you do this?" Oh, I get it. We can't go there, so we don't know, and that's the point.
Yeah.
We can't go there.
Yeah,
we can't substantiate it.
And the thing is, what we really need, like, is people in every single country to sort of, like, you know, we could phone up and say, "Here, look, something's happening in your country. Can you tell us if it is?" Of course, well, you got to remember, some of these countries they can't do it, Karen, because they're going to get a knock at the door, like by the KGB or whatever, you know. So there's a problem there, but I think it's all orchestrated. You know, when you watch all this stuff on the TV. How much is truth and how much is like fiction?
Did you know
like
something? You know, there's been a lot of controversy with Russia and how Biden hated Russia and whatever and all the wars. But in 2019, Trump put up a presidential, well, it was a fake presidential seal, but it was actually done and it looked very like the Russian one. It was a bit different, but only what they're carrying in their legs and things on the seal with the eagle. But no one could see it then. And then I made a video about it because I've put "Hail Trump." It's a video. It's on the channel, and in it this person put a post out. There's no writing on it, but they've put America is Western Rome, and Putin is Eastern Rome. Romans. Oh, Romans, that's why. That's why it's like it is.
All working for the same agenda, aren't they? You know,
we've all got the same boss when it comes to it.
Yeah. But you know something, what I want people out there to sort of like remember is, right, back to sort of like Antarctica. We're never going to get things right, like, you know, we're sort of like all on a learning curve. But we know for a fact, we know for 100% fact, like, that, you know, water can't bend, we can see too far, and until someone proves me otherwise, like, you know, there's some people in our community don't believe we've got a firmament. They say, like, you know, it works in a different way because it's beyond our realm of understanding.
How do we not know that the firmament really is the clouds? Because, you know, when you see clouds, they're usually upside down. Because if they were in this bit, the cloud would be on the bottom. But it's not. When you look at clouds, the bottom bit is on the top. The clouds are bigger up there. And so they meet. That might be where the firmament is.
It's definitely sort of like, you know, over like 50 miles up, whatever's up there, but, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it might not even be that far.
Maybe the clouds are the firmament.
I don't think so, Karen. I think
it's water below, water above. The clouds have water, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But carry on. You carry on. That's just my theory, anyway.
Yeah, basically, you know, you have to have, if you sort of like was to sort of like have an aerosol can, like, and you let it you squeeze the top, like, and let it go out in your room, it's gonna fill the space completely until sort of like it goes to the ceiling and can't go any further. Because it's a sealed environment. If you sort of like went outside and sprayed it, it's going to go up. Well, the thing is, it'll keep on going up until it hits a barrier, because that is the only way we understand physics. But there's a but coming. We got it wrong. Like about sort of like the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. If they were.
Well, how do we know we got it wrong? We don't know where he went.
No. But another thing as well. Until a scientist comes along and shows me, oh yeah, gas pressure can live next to it, because apparently Will Duffy knows how to do it, and he's going to be on flat soil, and I can't wait to watch that. He's gonna sort of like show us how a gas pressure can live next to a vacuum without solid separation. Well, good luck, mate, because as far as I know, in my physics book, it don't work. But listen, I just think like. Basically, where we live here, we live in some kind of toroidal field where we're sort of like, this big electromagnetic sort of like toroidal field where we're co-creators along with the creator, and we're all like these little minions working down here, and we're just off the tipping point. And once we get tipping point, wherever that will be, they're slowing things down. Yeah, obviously. I mean, that is their job to slow things down. But I don't think this little charade like in Antarctica is going to turn many people away from our movement, to be honest with you. Not the ones that have been in it for like as long as what we have, because we just see through it,
I'm really sorry, I got a little bit of a cough today. And if the dog makes a lot of noise, she just won't stop. She's
to be honest with you, Karen, that's
fretty.
Really, that's all I wanted to say.
Well, again,
I wanted to concentrate
ice
mainly on that tonight, because I'm quite upset about Christian as well now. I just.
Well, yes, we have had a little bit of a downer on that one, even though we knew that he was very
Hello,
ill.
you there, Karen?
Yeah, can you hear me, Gary?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah,
sorry. We knew he was very ill, and it's probably the same outcome.
I wanted to concentrate mainly on Antarctica tonight, and.
Well, yes, I agree with. Well, it doesn't change my mind at all.
Because Christian's at the back of my mind as well,
Yes, he's at the back of mine. It's a little bit of a downer today, but it's a big downer actually. But well, we've been going for 42 minutes.
Oh, I thought it was longer than that. I thought we'd go a little bit longer then. But I said we're going to do about an hour.
Okay, well, let's just stop for 1 second. Hang on 1 second. Let's regroup.
Yeah.
Well, we've decided actually to stop this chat because we're both quite upset about Christian, really, and Gary's kind of done what he wanted to do about Antarctica, and that'll be the third video on it, and it hasn't changed my mind, hasn't changed your mind, and it wouldn't change Christian's mind.
It certainly wouldn't, and where I live, I've got to be careful because I speaking because there's an old girl next door, and we live in sheltered housing, so much past 9 o'clock we have to sort of keep a bit quieter, Karen, as you know. But
that's okay. But we're not quite feeling it for the hangout now, but it's just a bit upsetting when when a good friend is not very well at all. But I've enjoyed our little chat, Gary, because I like what you say. I just don't. Well, I just thought it was all going to be a fiasco myself, and it was
a fiasco. It was contrived. It was contrived fiasco, and it looked staged to me. It looked like a play. It looked like a play down the West End. It didn't look real. And then more and more stuff is coming out on it now that makes me feel like it wasn't what we.
Well, you know what? I haven't watched it, Gary, but if it was some computer game and I saw it, I'd tell you. But I just don't feel like, because I don't believe. Well, I just don't believe it quite the way. Well, anyway, we've said what we've said, so yeah. But we are
You know,
upset about Christian. I know we're going on and on about it, but it's just so hard. He's such a nice man, and he's very clever, and it's just so annoying.
Well, we arranged this before we knew how ill Christian was, and I think it's sort of like thrown me off my stroke a little bit, because everyone out there that knows me knows I'm, you know, I've got many subjects that I will cover, but I've got a bit of brain fog tonight because, you know, we could have done other subjects like we do sometimes, but I wanted this one primarily to be about Antarctica because I wanted to get my 50 cents in, and I think, like most people in our community, like, we can smell a dirty big rat. And it's stained.
Yes.
Yeah. A dirty big rat, you know. And I'm one of the older statesmen, like, in our community, like, you know. So if I can smell a rat, I'm sure other people can as well that are younger than me. That's for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a shame, but you know, when I don't want to say too much, but I'll tell you privately, Gary, because otherwise I'm going to get into trouble. But yeah, I just, you know, in the past we had hangouts with loads of people as a channel when we were live, when we could go live and had all the people on the panel and everything. And then, of course, the BlackRock family bought YouTube and the rest, and his Google and his them. And then YouTube changed. But whereas I used to have all these big hangouts with people, over time I just stood and watched what they were like, what they were like towards us. And over time I've just thought, most of them are trolls and shills or something. That's how I feel.
I think a lot of these big channels, I don't have to mention any names, but I think they were put there very early on. Back in 2014, a lot of these people, like, were put into place to sort of, like, you know, to quell the masses, like, of sort of like finding out about this stuff, and things that I've been thinking for years, actually, for years have come to a head, and I'm not going to change my opinion now, and, you know, and the fact that sort of, like, you know, certain people, I don't have to mention their names, like, you know, they can sue me if they want. I ain't got any money. They can take me to court, but, you know, I don't have to mention their names. We know who they are. I think they were put into place from a very early stage for this very time, and if they wasn't,
it almost sounds stupid when you say it, because it sounds like a game. But I've noticed so many things happen. And the way that, I don't even want to mention names, but a bigger one got me a newspaper article, and it nearly killed me. I thought, I don't know if I can do Flat Earth after that, because it nearly annihilated me. It put some really horrible pictures out about me. And then I thought, I'll take it on the chin for Flatty. And afterwards I thought, you know, a bit later on, I thought, not that it's with a knife, but he tried to kill me. You know, because a lot of people, that would have turned them off what this paper did to me. And I thought, yes, who got me that article? Well, the one that's intermedia, that one. And it suddenly made me think that people, you know, even, you know, like Santos has changed massively. Someone that was constantly talking about this stuff won't talk about it at all and just wants to talk about his health and things now. Like, people who you put your trust in, so I just...
Shall I tell you something, Karen?
I like going with the people now.
Blackmail's a very powerful tool, and it goes all the way back since year dot. But I mean, you know, I told you before, like, you know, I knew family members, like, I knew the Cray twins, and they were brilliant at it in the 60s. They used to blackmail judges, blackmail policemen, blackmail politicians. So you imagine how we've come from the 60s. What they did in the 60s to how they can sort of like blackmail people now is in a different league altogether. And is it beyond the realms of possibility these people being blackmailed? What do you think? What do you think? You know, it's certainly up there, isn't it? Like, you know, we've taken a backhander. You know, it's all very, like I said before, it's all very smelly to me, completely. And I'm not changing my stance on it. And
neither am I.
As far as I'm concerned, everyone out there, still keep on doing your research, and it doesn't change anything. All we've got to do, folks, is do more research, on the way the sun walks.
And
Is it
use
beyond
your
our...
own senses. Do not try and just do it all off the computer. Do it yourself. You'll realise then. Because you realise nearly everything you're told is back to front, isn't it, Gary? So when they say, like, for instance, the sun isn't good for you, the sun is good for you. When they say salt isn't good for you, salt is good for you. When they say that, what's the other one you get with the ring in your eyes? What's that one? It's like a cholesterol build-up in your body.
cholesterol.
No, but it's what, they try and make sure that your count for that is down, but really it should be quite high. You won't have testosterone. You won't have all these other things. You need salt to make your pee into urine, etc., etc. And so they're taking away all the fundamental things that you need to live. Even our shoes, we should be in with leather sole bottoms, not plastic bottoms, because we don't connect with the earth. And they're just taking everything away. And they're saying, oh, that's bad for you, when it isn't. It's good for you. It's just so sad, isn't it?
Do you know something? It's amazing, really, because I speak to people and they tell me, they say, Gal, I can't get a doctor's appointment or a hospital appointment for love nor money. I get deluged, Karen, left, right and centre. I'm definitely on some kind of red list, because when I speak to my friend, my good friend Christine in Peterborough, like, she says, oh, Gal, I can't get an appointment for this, that and the other. I get deluged for this blood test, for sort of like sending away a little bit of my poop and one thing and another. And I think people like us, we're on a computer, like, we have a little red mark or a little black mark there, because they know, like, we're sort of like, to them, we
haven't conformed to the Roman way.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I get deluged. I've told other people this in the past, Karen, left, right, and centre. I get this. I had one the other day, like, oh, Mr. Williams, your tests. We want to sort of like you to go and have some more tests up the hospital, and I think they're going to find something accidentally on purpose, and then put me on something like to do away with me, because I'm a thorn in their side. But there you go. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but I don't think so, because most people I know, they can't get a doctor's appointment or hospital appointment.
Do you know what I found most alarming, right? They said that people don't often die from cancer. They die from being radiated. And when they do that, they burn your liver, kidneys, heart, and people can't survive. We're the year 2025, and it's almost as if we're living in Auschwitz.
It is, yeah, it's terrible. Anyway, Karen, it's 9:10. I bet we better finish this one, because I don't want to cause a bit of noise for the people around here,
Anyway, thanks for that, Gary. We're just sorry about Christian, but thank you very much for the chat,
Let's
Gary.
put me back. We did plan this, like, before we knew how real Christian was, so we thought we'd still carry on with it and dedicate it to him anyway,
And so what's your thoughts, everybody, about Antarctica? And I'm so sorry, Christian. We love him lots. And thank you, Gary. Thank you, chat room. Yeah, thank you, chat room. Thanks very much. Anyway, lots of love, everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, lovely. And think about what me and Karen have been speaking about. Do your own research and don't listen to anyone. What you've got to remember, all these people have probably almost certainly got an agenda. It's to keep you sort of like under the cosh and under the thumb. You do your own research and don't worry about anyone. Carry on the good work. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Gary.